तुमचा आवाज ऑलरेडी बाहेर.
Good afternoon. Direct page checklist. Uh, Good afternoon. Today we'll start unit third, talent acquisitions. In this chapter, main concept is what is mean by talent, source of recruitment process, alternatives to recruitments, inductions to selections, selections process, orientations and induction process. This factor study in this chapter. Okay. And तर फर्स्ट आपण ह्या चॅप्टरची ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह पाहूया. In this comparative environment, human resource play a very vital role in the success and probability of any business. Each organization tries to attract the best employees for the best results. The first upon recruitments. What is mean by recruitments? The recruitments means recruitments is the process of hiring the right number of people of the right type at the right place. It is the process of generating a pool of qualified applications for a job. It includes identifying and encouraging the candidates to apply for a job, receiving applications, and screening the applicants. Second definition, compare यांनी केलेली आहे. तर recruitments means forms the first stage in the process which continues with the selections and keys with the placement of the candidates. In this unit, main objective is first is understand the concept of recruitments. Second objective, describe the various source of recruitments and discuss their merits and demerits. Explain in details the various steps involved in the requirement process. Fourth objective, state the various alternatives to recruitment. Fifth, explain the concept of selections. याच्यामध्ये आपण सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस त्या ठिकाणी कशी जाते, सिलेक्शनचे क्रायटेरिया त्या ठिकाणी काय आहे, हा पार्ट आपण बघणार आहोत. त्याच्यानंतर डिस्क्राईब द व्हेरियस स्टेप्स फॉलोइंग अँड टूल्स यूज इन द सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस. Explain the concept of inductions and the inductions process. The first आपण पार्ट बघणार आहोत. त्याच्यामधला फर्स्ट पॉइंट, सोर्स ऑफ रिक्रुटमेंट्स. रिक्रुटमेंटचे डिफरंट सोर्स ऑफ रिक्रुटमेंट्स for main two types. First is internal source and second is external source. Internal source means this approach including recruiting, developing and promoting the employees from within the organization. Internal recruitments are cost effective, more reliable as the organizations is aware of the candidates skill set and knowledge, and it also motivate the employees and increase their commitment towards the organization. In internal sourcing can be done in the following ways. First way is transfers, second promotions, third retired and detached employees, fourth employees refills, uh, fifth job position, and last in discussing the disabled employees. तर वन बाय वन आपण स्टडी करूया. The first internal source जे आहे तर त्यातला मधला transfers and employees may be shipped from the job to another internal generally of the same level. The roles and responsibilities of the employees might change, but not necessarily the salary. This helps the employees to get motivated and try something new, helps them break the monotony of the old job, encouraging them to grow by gaining more knowledge. सेकंड सोर्स आहे त्या ठिकाणी प्रमोशन्स. प्रमोशन मीन्स बढती त्या ठिकाणी भेटणे एम्प्लॉईजला याच्या संदर्भातला. तर त्याच्यामध्ये रिक्रुटमेंट्स बाबतचा सेकंड सोर्स आहे त्या ठिकाणी. तर याच्यामध्ये ॲज रिगरेशन फॉर देअर इफिशियन्स अँड एक्सपिरियन्स द एम्प्लॉईज आर मूव्ह फ्रॉम positions to higher positions. There is a change in their duties and responsibility accompanied with a change in salary and status. त्याच्या एकंदर त्या जॉबचा एक्सपिरियन्स किती आहे, त्याच्यानंतर त्याचे क्वालिफिकेशन, त्याच्यानुसार त्याला वरची पोस्ट जी आहे ती हायर पोस्ट त्या ठिकाणी दिली जाते आणि त्याच्यावरून त्याची सॅलरी आणि स्टेटस त्या ठिकाणी ठरत असतं. त्याला ह्या गोष्टी प्रमोशन्समध्ये इन्क्लूड होतात. इट हेल्प्स द एम्प्लॉईज टू ग्रो vertical in the organizations in producers. It refers him from leaving the company for greener pastures. Third is retired and richest employees. Retired the rich employees may also be recruited back in case there is a high demand and storage of supply in the industry, or there is a sudden increase in workload. These employees are already aware of the process, producers, and cultures of the organizations. Hence, they prove to be cost effective. Next, employees refer. In this case, each employees of the company acts as a recruiter. The employees are encouraged to recommend the names of their friends or relatives working in other organizations. For this, they are even rewarded monetarily. The benefit of employees refer is that the professional candidate gets the first-hand information about the job and organization culture from the already working employees. Since he knows what he is getting into, he is accepted to stay longer in the organizations. Also, since the celebrity of those who recommended is at stake, they tend to recommend those who are highly motivated and complement. Second, job position. The company posts the current and expected vacancy on bullet boards, electronic media, and similar common portals. This gives an opportunity to the employees to undertake a career shift and help them grow within the company. Diseased and disabled employees. In order to make the families of these diseased and disabled employees self-sufficient, their relatives or defense may be offer a job in case of any vacancy. Next source is external source. External source means news candidates are recruitment from outside the organizations by different means and methods. It is more commonly used than internal source. External recruitments are helpful in acquiring skills that are not possessed by the current employees. It is also helps to bring on board employees from different backgrounds that gets diversity of ideas on the table. Some of the modes of external sources are: first is campus recruitments. External source मध्ये first campus recruitments means when companies are in searching of fresh talents and are focusing on knowledge, communication skill, and talent, then experience they approach management college, technical institutions, etc. The company makes presentations about its organizations in order to attract the student, however, finds it uh, matching with their career plans applies for the job. These applicants are the made to go the series of selections process like analytical and psychological tests, group decision, discuss interviews, extra before the final selections is done. Second, management consultant. Management consultants act as representatives of the employers. They performs the recruitment functions on behalf of the client company by charging them fees or commissions. These consultants are able to tailor their service according to the specific needs of the clients, thus revealing the lines managers from their recruitment functions. Advertisement, though newspaper, televisions, and ratio, etc. This media of recruitment is very popular and commonly used as its reach of a wide range of people. It can also be talented at a specific group of a particular geographic area by choosing a specific newspaper, ratio channel, etc. For example, a business journal say with certain advertisement company names, job descriptions, and salary package are mentioned. There are blind advertisement as well, where no identifications of the firms is given. These advertisements are published mostly when the organizations wants to fill an internal vacancy or planning to displace an executive employees. Trade occasions. Trace occasion. There are occasions that create a database of job seekers and provide it to its members during regional or national conventions. They also publish classified advertisement for employees interested in recruiting their members. Walk-in interviews. Other incoming there other incoming method of recruitments is walk-in interviews. There is a no time and meeting schedule for each individual and advertisement regarding the time and the locations of the interview is given in the newspaper. The candidates are required to carry their CVS and directly appear for the interviews. It is a very common mode of recruitments amongst BPO and sale centers. Next is job fairs. Job fairs are effective way of getting in touch with the potential employees and candidates. There are HR hiring managers of various companies under one roof. Information and business cards can be exchanged and resumes can be submitted by the candidates. Employers can support the right applicant. A similar the applicant can apply in many organizations together wherever they feel the offer is best and suits their interest. Both the source of recruitments have their own advantage and disadvantage. The same have been mentioned below. First is merits of internal sourcing. Internal recruitment is less time consuming and economical. Second merit is it is revealed as the organizations is aware of the employees' knowledge and skill set. Third, there is a no need of inductions and training as the employees is already aware of the process, producer and cultures of the organizations. Fourth, encourage the motivations level of the employees as they look forward to getting a higher job in the organizations instead of looking for greener passions outside. Fifth, it boosts the moral of the employees, improves their relations with the organizations, and reduce employees turnover. Six, it develops the spirit or loyalty in the employees, ensures continuity of employment and organization's sustainability. Demerits of internal sourcing. Internal sourcing prevents new blood, original and innovations ideas from entering the organizations. Second, the scope is limited as not all the vacancy can be filled by the limited pool of talent available in the organizations. Third, the positions of the person who is transferred or promoted falls vacant. It can credit dissatisfaction amongst the rest of the employees as there can be basis on fertility in promoting and employees in the organizations. Merits of external sourcing, new and young blood enters the organization, which are innovative ideas, use approaches that can help to steer up the exiting employees. Second, it offers a wider pool for selection. Companies can pick up candidates with requisite qualifications. It creates a competitive environment as it helps the existing employees to work harder in order to match the standard that the new employees bring in. It leads to long-term benefits to the organization's talent pools of people, bringing along with them new methods of working or new approaches to situations that helps the organizations to stay abreast with the comparative world outside. Demerits of external sourcing. First demerit, it is a time-consuming process as it involves attracting the right candidates, screening them, going through a series of tests and interviews, etc. When suitable candidates got not available, this process has to be repeated again and again. This process proves to be very expensive for the organizations as the companies have to resort to advertisement, hiring consultants, etc. for attending the right pool of talent. Third, it can lower the moral and demotivate the accepting employees as they can feel their salaries have not been recognized. It is a less reliable than internal sourcing since the organizations hire candidates on the basis of their resumes, face, interests, etc. They may not turn out to be as accepted. It may end up hiring someone who ends up being a misfit and may not be able to adjust in the new setup. Recruitment means there is a step by step approach that is taken while identifying and attracting a pool of talent and qualified candidates as per the organizational needs. These internet steps are discussed below. First recruitment process, first point is important planning. Planning refers to identify vacancy and evaluating human resource needs, proper planning and evaluations of the number of people required and type of applicant to be contact leads to hiring the right persons for the role and team. Organizations always attract more candidates than they plan to hire as many of the candidates who are attracted may be underqualified, misfit, or not willing to join the positions. First, they Measures of successfulness of the recruitments strategies by recruitments yield ratio in order to determine the number of candidates to be attracted for a vacancy. Recruitments yield ratio refers to the ratio of candidates CVS forwards to those shortlists for interview. Those interview to offer, those offer to place for example. An advertisement attracting resume for 3,000 applicants, out of which only 300 candidates were qualified to fit the job. Uh, Second, now out of this 300 resumes received, and only 600 turned up for the interviews. Further, out of this 60 who attend the interviews, and only 40 were offered a job, out of which only 30 accepted the offers. Hence, the total years is 101. This means that if the companies finally needs 20 employees on board, they should attract resume from 2,000 candidates. Along with the decisions on the number of people to be employees, it is a very important to evaluate the client of people to be talented. Job descriptions and job specifications clearly states the roles and responsibilities involved and the skills and qualifications required to fulfill them. Sourcing strategy. There are various strategies that can be used to identify and attract the right candidates to fill a job vacancy. Companies might decide to recruit internally from the current pool of talent within their organizations, and then the train them further to take up larger and variety of roles. It company feels that they needs to attract the skills, talent, and knowledge that are not possible possessed by the current employees. They may plan to source of outside the organizations. In this way, they can bring on boards employees from different backgrounds that can be bringing diversity of ideas. In order to attract employees from outside in organizations that can undertake campus interview or publish in advertise in the newspaper or internet, attend job fairs, hire recruitments, consultants, etc. These are the internal and external source of recruitment that have been discussed clearly in the chapter. म्हणजे सोर्सिंग स्ट्रॅटेजीमध्ये जे आपण कॅम्पस इंटरव्ह्यू घेतो किंवा त्या ठिकाणी पेपरमध्ये न्यूजपेपरमध्ये किंवा वेबसाईटवर त्या ठिकाणी ॲड देतो आणि त्याच्यानुसार जी हे केली जातं त्याला सोर्सिंग स्ट्रॅटेजी रिक्रुटमेंटची असं म्हटलं जातं. सेकंड जे आहे त्या ठिकाणी सर्चिंग अँड सेलिंग. सर्चिंग मीन्स शोधणे आणि सेलिंग म्हणजे विकणे त्याचा हे होतं. Once the sourcing strategy has been decided upon, the search methods are activated. The company says itself when the search process begins by communication though the search media. While doing so, the company must make sure that they sell themselves enough to attract the required number and type of people by the same time to not oversell their virtues. They should also select the medium of communications very carefully, as the clarity of the media impacts the success of the recruitment process to a large extent. Screen. Screen is an important step in the requirements process and helps save a great deal of time and money if effectively undertaken at an early stage. The main purpose of screening is to determine which candidate will be selected for interview from a larger pool. When the requirements are clear about what key skills and attributes are they seeking in a candidate, it becomes easy for them to remove those applications that are visible unqualified for the job. Screening should be done very carefully. Potential where the good employee should not be rejected without justifications. Applications qualification should be privately just on the basis of their knowledge, skills, abilities, and interest required to the job. Both evaluations and control. Evaluations of the recruitment process helps in executing controls over different aspects of the recruitment process. These accepted are first the costs include in terms of salaries to the required cost of advertisement and their recruitment method, cost of overtime and outsourcing, while the vacancies remaining vacant requirements, overheads and other costs etc. Time spent by the managements and professionals on preparing job descriptions, specification, advertisements, etc. The final number of recruitment selected measures the effectiveness of the recruitment methods, the requirements at issue, etc. Organization measures the quality of the new recruits of monitoring their performs their turnover rates, separate the rate as well, and the employees retention rate while evaluating the success of the recruitment process. Next, alternative to recruitments. Recruitments and selection is costly and time-consuming process. Moreover, if gets on board permanent employees, which are hard to be separated in case they do not perform as per the requirements or if there is overstaffing due to less work due to market demand applications, hence a fight back the temporary phase of high market demand from firms' products. Companies might resort to alternatives to requirements that are started below. First is overtime in order to fulfill the extra demand of the firm's products, which leads to excess hard load, workload. Some employees are asked to work overtime or under some terms and conditions. Four times is the amount of time and someone works behind the working hours. In such a case, employees get extra wage as per the contract signed between the employees and the employer. The disadvantage is that the employees might not work to his full potential during the day in order to earn overtime. Temporary employees temporary employees and appointed for a period that does not last for long. It is to fill a short-term positions which is scheduled to be terminated within one or more years for regions as the completions of a specific project or peak workload. This helps the company is avoiding expense of recruitment, saves them know and help avoid the negative impact of labor, turnover, etc. However, temporary employees might not be very low to the company. Their experience may affect the work output and they tend to take time to adjust. Some content training, the complete to complete a specific project or fulfill a sudden temporary increase in the demand of the company's products. The company might restore to subcontracting. It is the practice of assigning part of the obligations, tasks, and responsibilities to another part and under a contract known as subcontractor, hiring an outside specialist agency to undertake part of the work leads to mutual advantage in such case as the company would like to expand on its own only when the increased demand lasts for a specified period of time. For employees leasing, and in employees leasing firms specialize in recruitment, training, human resource management, payroll, accounting, the risks administration. The leasing firm also takes care of the work supervisions, daily duties, and other routine set of work. For example, a nursing service firm hires many nurses and provides them to hospitals on a contract basis. It provides an advantage to the organizations to change its employees without actual layoffs. Fifth, outsourcing. Under outsourcing, a business process is contracted out to a third party. The regions spend outsourcing are many. It removes the needs to hire and train specialized staff as it is sourced out to someone specialized in that area, processing the resource and expertise that leads to comparative superiority over time. It also helps to reduce capital and operating expenses and helps ever. But some regulations, high tax, labor union contract system, instructions to selections. Once a pool of job applicants is created, it is followed by selection. Selection is choosing the best possible candidate within required site qualifications and competence to the meet the specific requirements of the role. Selections is more a process of limitations. It seeks to limit as many unqualified applicants as possible in order to identify the right candidates. Effective selections can be done only when there is effective matching. It is a very circular process and it is a create the foundation of success for a organization. Selecting the right candidates results in high quality of work performance and productivity, high sense of loyalty of the to the organizations, and commitment to seek less turnover rate, competitive environment, and better results. Second is selections process. Selections process is generally is length process and varies from organizations to be organizations, uh, two organizations, or even between two different positions in the same organizations. Below are the generally steps followed in a selection process. Preliminary interview. Preliminary interview is an eliminations process in the very early stage so as to save time and energy. It is similar to screening and aims at eliminating unqualified applications who do not appear fit in the applications while they are screening. Selection stage. After the screening process and preliminary interview, the applicant short list are made to undergo certain tests. These tests are graded in a specific manner and are taken under standardized conditions. The standard of environment scoring extra are uniformly applied so as to avoid injustice. The natures of the job and positions to be filled determines which all these tests the applicant needs to go through. The main objective of this test is to measure and the candidates' behavior, skill set, and attitudes started below are some of the common tests undertake. Intelligence test. Section test मध्ये पहिला intelligence test. Also refers intelligence test also refers to as ability test measures the candidates ability to learn and grasp skills candidates who seem to be quick at learning as they can be trained easily can be used to achieve organization goals. त्याच्यामध्ये त्या ठिकाणी त्याच्या इंटेलिजन्स टेस्टमध्ये त्याला त्यांनी कुठल्याच ऑर्गनायझेशन गोष्टीसाठी त्याला अचीव वगैरे केले त्याची ॲबिलिटी ती चेक केली जाते. ॲप्टिट्यूड टेस्टमध्ये त्याला त्याच्यामध्ये युजर्स ऑफ एज्युकेशन टू लर्न स्पेसिफिक एरिया means when a candidate is giving exam for a specific role, his attitude regarding the tasks to be performed to fulfill that role is mentioned. Measures. Next test type personality test is generated to measure the basic accept of the applicant's personality like motivations, decisions making, skills, self-confidence, interpersonal behavior, emotional balance, etc. This is a personality test. पर्सनॅलिटी टेस्टमध्ये ती व्यक्ती जी आहे ती व्यक्ती जी ॲप्लिकंट पर्सन जे आहे तिची मोटिवेशन ते कसं आहे डिस्कस करण्याचे स्किल त्या ठिकाणी कसं आहे स्वतःचा सेल्फ कॉन्फिडन्स कसा आहे त्याच्यानंतर बिहेवियर कसं आहे त्याचं इमोशन बॅलन्स त्या ठिकाणी कसा आहे ह्या गोष्टी चेक केल्या जातात त्याच्यानंतर अचिव्हमेंट टेस्टमध्ये जे आहे अचिव्हमेंट टेस्ट मीन्स इज करिअर आउट टू टेस्ट whether the tasty actual knows that what was been mentioned by him in the resume and whether he has the capacity to do the current job in order to test that works samples of small promotions uh, of the job are created. This testing is asked to perform them, which gives a clear pictures of the ability of the testee to do the job. Simulations tests are commonly carried out to assess the candidate ability to handle the various activities and problem while at work. Managers needs to face such situations at work and handle them effectively when such problems and situations are duplicated and presented in front of the applicants to test their ability to deal with them. नंतर ची टेस्ट आहे geography test. Geography test means attended unit test reads the handwriting of the applicant and infers his personality, emotional equivalent, tolerant. त्याच्यानंतर by examining the lines, curve, loops, strokes in the handwriting. ह्या गोष्टी म्हणजे जेव्हा ग्राफोलॉजी टेस्टमध्ये त्याचं मेन हायड्रायटिंग कसं आहे त्याची जे लाईन्स कर्व लूप्स जे काही करतात त्याची पद्धत त्या ठिकाणी कशी ह्याचे केले जातात त्याच्यानंतर पोलोग्राफी टेस्ट मीन्स इज बेसिकली अ lie detector where in the applicant is made to sit on a chair with lot of the equipment and machines attached to him. His further asks a series of questions to determine whether the subject response were truthful or deceptive. His biological measurements like breathing, blood pressures, prescriptions, etc., are examined. Integrate test measures the honesty of the employees by making them answer as a well structured and form a series of questions. These results of the test are a good predications of whether the employees will ever perform and act that will be unacceptable by the organizations. Employment interviews. Interview is the oral and face-to-face examinations of the applicant. It is the most effective tools in the entire selection process. It helps the interviewer to know the interview in the except behind the ones mentions in the applications. It also makes clear the interview agree blends motivations levels proactiveness, etc. Subjective accept can be examined though the individual physical expressions, body language, confidence, nervousness, etc. It is beneficial both way. The interviewer can sell the organizations to the candidate, and the candidate can be become more aware about the policies, programs, job descriptions, etc while conservatism with the interval. Next, depending on the natures of the positions to be filling different types of interviews might to undertaken. First is non uh, direct detective interview, structure interview, situational interviews, and the behavioral interviews, stress interview, and groups discussions. The first जे आहे त्या ठिकाणी नॉन डिटेक्टिव्ह interviews. In this kind of interview, the interviewer does not have any presence sequence of questions to be asked. The requires ask questions as and when they come to be mind, and hence the interviews can take any directions. It also is a qualitative methods of analysis where the interviews also though some open-ended questions to let the interview walk talk freely. Structure interview. In this kind of interview, the interviewer will ask predetermined set of questions to each candidate so as to avoid any in this case comparisons between the applications becomes easy. On the other hand, it might come across as a very formal or rigid kind of an interactions, leading the applications to be uneasy. Situation interviews. In this kind of interviews, hypothetical situations are created and the applicant are made to face them. The response to these situations are evaluated and examinative. Beware interviews it focus on the way the candidate has handled the given situations in the past. The candidate discuss the incidents that occurs in their works or personal life in the past and how they handle them. State interview. The objective state interview is to determine whether the candidate will be able to calmly deal with the stress, processing, and demanding situations at work. Hence, very aggressive, rude, and insulting questions are done. At time, his response is examined and evaluated. Groups discussions is a methodology in which a group of candidates is given a topic on a situation. They are given a few minutes to think about the same and the ask to discuss it among us themselves. Though this method the requires can feature whether the candidate has certain personality, traits and skills that it decides in its members. For example, first, ability to work in a firm, communication skills, reasoning ability, leadership skills, intelligence, assertiveness, flexibility, and creativity. And next, medical examinations. In certain organization, medical examinations is a must as the job might require clear visuals, accurate hearing, a high stamina, etc. Medical examinations helps in telling whether the applicant physical is in accordance with the job requires or whether he needs to correct it before coming on board. Next, reference check. Every candidate is required to give a contact details of at least two persons who can be contact for their reference check. These can be people who are familiar with the candidate's academic achievements or co-workers or employees in the previous organizations. Next, job offer. A letter of appointment is issued to those who have successfully crossed all the stage of selection. This letter is an offer a job and state the terms of conditions on which the employees has been taken on board. It also states the date on which the employees must report on duty. Orientations and inductions. Orientations is a process in which the new employees are made familiar to their job complex process, co-workers and organizations orientation process may be formal or informal, individual or collective, and it is structured over a scheduled period of time. They usually cover general information about their day-to-day work, facts about the organization's history, details about the product, service, policy, procedure following work rules, employees' benefits, etc. त्याच्यामध्ये following the benefits of orientations and inductions program. First benefits is it helps the bringing familiar and removing fear. Second, forming an impression and source of informations. Induction process in two is induction process. First is introduction and second socializations and follow-ups. Introductions the new employees is introduced to various aspects of the business. He is made aware of the organization issue like history of the company, organization structures, names and roles of the existing employees, products, service and process discipline, producer company policy. Socialization, formal or and informal interactions and discussions with the employees working in the organizations help the new recruits in understanding how the department and company is run. Follow-ups during the inductions, there can be communications gaps by the supervisors while covering a large area of informations to be provided to the new joiners. In order to overcome this, there should be follow-up meeting at certain intervals and the gap should be for the in-depth interviews. Roundtable conference of question is summary requirements is the process of identifying and attending a pool of qualified applicant for a job. In it encouraging the candidates to apply for a job followed by receiving and screening the applicants. Documents process is a step-by-step approach and start from planning the number of candidates to be required followed by deciding sourcing strategy, sketching and selling, screening, relations and control. source from where the candidates are identified attract. The select can be either internal like transfer, promotions, employees, refer, job positioning, etc. or external those campus requirements, measurement, concern, advertisements and trade associations, etc. Orientations and introductions is carried out after a candidate is offered a job. It is a process in which the new employees are made familiar to the job complex process for workers and organizations. Okay, in this unit, main key terms is requirements, internal source, external source, recruitment. Refer of in interview, job fairs, screen, or time outsourcing. In this chapter, my question is definition, requirements, and selection. Explain to different source of requirements. What are the merits and demerits of internal source of requirements? Okay, this chapter is completed. Next chapter, next lecture, नवीन आपण. Okay, thank you.